Hello. If you are a new mom returning back to the workforce, you just had a baby and you're wondering, how do I navigate this new normal? How do I cope? How do I, deliver on my job and take care of my new baby? Well, you are in the right place because on today's episode of Life on the Mom's Lane, we discuss navigating your new normal as a new mom, transitioning into the workforce with your baby. Hello. Welcome to Life on the Mom's Lane. My name is Izeri. I am your host. So on today's episode, we'll be sharing with you tips on how to navigate, returning to the workforce as a mom. It can be daunting for anybody. It can be very challenging. I always say that when a child is born, a mom is also born because it's a new season. It's a new experience for both parties. It is really, really challenging. Little wonder then that a lot of women leave the workforce after they have had kids because it is just immensely challenging. It is tiring. It is stressful. It is difficult. It's perhaps one of the most difficult phases in a woman's life. But today we have tips to help you navigate this journey. And so our first tip is that you should plan ahead. So what does it mean to plan ahead? It means that if you are getting a nanny to come to your house to take care of your baby, then you need to get the nanny before you resume. So you're not resuming on Monday and then the nanny is reporting to your house on Monday. So what this means is that the nanny comes ahead of time. You have time to screen. You have time to monitor. You have time to correct. You have time to say, oh no, I don't want that done this way. This is what I want to be done. This is how I want my child to be taken care of. You have time to really just see if this person has the skills you need to take care of your child. And so you want to plan ahead. And for those of you who are taking your kids to daycare, you want to visit the daycare well ahead of the time you take your baby there. And so one of the things I used to do when I had my own son, I was one of those mothers who were and I mean, as with most new moms, for first-time moms, you are very finicky about everything. And so I was one of those moms who used to go to my child's daycare. Like when I got the daycare for my son, I would sneak in there in odd hours of the day to check on him and to just ensure that, they're taking care of him properly. So a good plan would be to check the daycare, go to the daycare ahead of time and see just how well they are taking care of other kids and how they are managing the place. And here's a tip you should pay close attention to. When you are visiting the daycare, make sure you go in the middle of the day when they're in the thick of it. Do not go very early in the morning because at that time they're expecting parents, so they will be very intentional in keeping the place clean. They will make sure the toilets are clean, the playground is clean, everywhere is properly kept. And in the evening when parents are coming, they would also make sure the children you'll notice that all the children are looking good, everywhere is well kept, the playground is clean, and everywhere is just tidy. But when you come in the middle of the day, at that point they are actually in the thick of taking care of children. They are in the thick of their work. So at that point you can get a true picture of how they handle their affairs. So for those of you who intend to keep your children in the daycare, and that was my preference because at the time I didn't want nannies coming to my home. I wanted my babies to be in a daycare because I felt that they had proper structure. So for those of you who want to place your kids in daycare, please ensure you visit them during the day. Don't go in the morning because then they would be prepared for you. Do not go in the evening because then they would be prepared for you. Go in the middle of the day. Go by 12, go by 2, go by 3. When they are in the thick of it, then you can get a very, very, very good picture of what they are doing. And for those of you looking for nannies, have you heard about Tribe Mama Care? Have you seen what we are trying to do? Have you followed our Instagram page? Well, check out Tribe Mama Care. At Tribe Mama Care, we are working to provide you with verified and reliable nannies who have been screened, trained, and made available for you. So that's our tip. Make sure our first tip is that you need to plan ahead. And so our second tip is that you need to be kind to yourself. You won't be perfect. You are going to worry. You're going to be disturbed. You're going to try to do a lot of things at the same time. But always remember that as a child is born, a mom is also born. Give yourself space and time to grow into this role. Be kind to yourself. Be patient with yourself. You are navigating change, as is your new baby. So just take it easy and be kind to yourself. our third tip is ease into it if possible. So, for example, one of the things you want to do is if you are in an industry where or in an organization where you have the option to do hybrid work or remote work. And a lot of organizations are actually open and willing to remote work this day. Since COVID, people have been very flexible with their work patterns. And so have that conversation with your HR that at this point, because you just had a baby, you probably are going through postpartum depression. So have a conversation with your human resource officer that at this point, I may not be able to return fully back to work, depending on what happened during your birth and delivery process. So, for example, you may have had a cesarean section and you are going through protracted healing phase, which was my case when I had my second child. But one of the things you need to do, and I think this is for women generally, we need to learn how to express ourselves. We need to learn how to communicate. We need to learn how to speak up. Have a conversation with your human resource officer that I do not feel well. I am going through postpartum depression. I need time to ease into this role. I think a couple of days ago, I was having a conversation with a new mom and she was speaking to me. She has 3 kids and the last kid is the baby, and she was telling me that she has no help and she's going through postpartum depression and she has targets to meet at work and she is struggling. And I remember when I had this conversation, we actually chatting with her. I told her that she needed to, communicate with the human resource officer. They may not give remote work. Because some organizations are just fundamentally very traditional, but they may be willing to give, hybrid. They may allow you work on an hybrid mode. So you have some flexible period and then you can ease into the role. So one of my tips is that just ease into the role, have conversation with, sorry, I keep taking off my glasses and I'm putting it back, but just ease into the role, have conversation with the human resource officer, and do not be afraid to escalate it if need be, because your health is important. So that's another tip. Then organize your morning routine. Pack diaper, bags, pump supply, whatever it is. If you are taking your child to the daycare or the crèche, make sure you're organized in the morning. Organize your morning routine. Pack your things the night before so that you're not overwhelmed in the morning. And so our next tip is accept help. And this is a very important tip for mothers, because there are a lot of women who say, nobody can do this thing except me. I am the only one that can wash my baby's clothes. The other day, I was I went to see someone and I saw a new mom and she was hand washing the baby's clothes. And I'm like, oh, cool. Why don't you use the washing machine? I said, no, I want him to be 6 months before I use it. So what happens if you use a washing machine for your baby? What will happen to your baby's skin? When you finish, you iron it. The iron will kill all the germs. What's wrong with that? So accept help when you find good, competent help, and you will. Which is why at Tribe Mama Care, we are working very, very hard to give women access to nannies and help at the click of a button. We are working very hard to give you access to verified help, to train nannies, at the click of a button. So when you find help, please let them help you. Let your husband help you. Let your mother-in-law help you. Let your friends help you. For those of you who are lucky and privileged to have husbands who are hands-on, who are, helping to carry the baby, helping to change the diapers, don't say, you're not doing it well. Let me do it myself. Don't say, no. Encourage them. When you find help, and you will, please accept help. Do not attempt to do everything all by yourself. Do not be an helicopter mom. So that's my next tip. And then my final tip is just in line with what I had said initially, is to get help. Get help. Someone said, is either you're a working mom or you're a full-time mom. If you're a working mom and you're one of those people who feel like, I don't want domestic help, I want to do everything by myself, then perhaps you should consider being a full-time mom. And I need to say that there's actually nothing wrong in being a full-time mom. It is such an immense privilege to be able to stay at home and take care of the children. It is a wonderful privilege. And so, if you're a working mom, please get help. Get help, because if you do not get help, somebody will suffer. Is either the job suffer, somebody or something will suffer. So it's either the job suffers, or you suffer, or your baby suffer, because you're trying to do too many things at the same time. So please get help. And for those of you who are interested in breastfeeding for 6 months, which is what is medically advised that you should do, you should exclusively breastfeed your child for 6 months. for those of you who want to do it, if this is something you want to do, because for most organizations, very few organizations give more than 6 months maternity leave, and a lot of people are still giving 3 months maternity leave. So for those of you who are returning to work after 3 months and you want to breastfeed exclusively for 6 months, then you know that you want to plan ahead by increasing your milk supply. And one of the ways you can increase your milk supply is by breastfeeding often and pumping often, because the mechanism behind breastfeeding is that the more you do it, the better, the more it comes out. And so you want to do that often, such that by the time you are resuming, you already have a backlog of breast milk that have been extracted and stored. And for those of you who are interested, if you want us to have conversations about breast milk, how you store, how you keep breast milk, how you store it, and how you can actually increase the flow, please leave a comment in the comment section. Yeah, this is our pilot shoot. We are just beginning the series on motherhood and career and life generally. And so if you want us to have more conversations like this, please leave a comment in the comment section. So if you want to breastfeed exclusively for 6 months and you're returning back to work after 3 months, please start ahead of time. Start, building your supply, building it up, such that by the time you're going to work, you have a lot of, supplies available, because that's all the baby is going to take. Whether there is a nanny at home, whether there is, whether you are taking them to the daycare, you want to ensure that the baby has enough breast milk to last through the period while you're at work. So, those are our tips for you today. If you enjoyed this video, if you want us to talk more about conversations on motherhood, on career, on just navigating life as a woman, as an adult woman with children and a career and life generally, please subscribe to this YouTube channel, share this podcast with your friends, and thank you for tuning in. My name is Izare. I am your host, and this is Life on the Mom's Lane. Thank you. Hello. Welcome to Life on the Mom's Lane. My name is Izere. I am your host.